But overall, in general, the garden and the DIY bits that I was on about today, I've got this RS feeder. Overall, I am super impressed with it. So it only uses electric when it's actually running. I thought I'd give a little update on my grow-on pond. I don't think Mrs. Whisperer will have none of that, but I don't know if it's temperature related. And for the people that don't know, I absolutely love this hobby. And by me doing this, hopefully that it proves to you how much dedication that I'm prepared to put into this channel. And it wasn't doing the old mental health any good whatsoever. And it's the first time for a long time that I actually feel happy with myself. Hello everyone, welcome back. James the Koi Whisperer. So today, coming up on this video, I wanted to do a few little DIY jobs that I've got to finish off really. And I want to give a little bit of a review on an air source heat pump that I recently bought for my pond. But just before we start, I thought I'd give a little update on my grow-on pond, because these koi are absolutely doing fantastic. And I do believe that's down to steady temperature now in the pond. They're all so much more happier. I ain't gonna lie, they're constantly looking for food. When they say greedy little pigs, these guys can certainly pack away some food in a day. My kahaku in there is growing fantastically. And it's interesting really, because there's exactly the same amount of food going into this pond, but it just shows that certain breeds of fish and certain genetics of fish, some koi just grow bigger than others. And I mean, this one here is doing fantastic. Me and my wife is having a competition with a little competition we got going on here. So we both selected a few fish, and over the next sort of 10 to 12 months, we're just having a little bit of competition really. But moving on from that, I wanted to give a little bit of a review really on the little air source heat pump that I bought. So I've had this running on the pond now for the last 6 weeks, and I'm not going to lie to you, for what I paid for it, 325 quid, I'm well impressed with it. I've had no faults with it, no issues with it, and it's been working amazingly. Thing is, with a heat pump, it's always best to use it at the right time of the year, because a lot of people buy a heat pump and they think the only reason of buying it is to heat over the winter, which that is a good valid reason to use it. But to get the most out of a heat pump, it's best to use it when the weather's on your side, so then you can keep it stable for a lot longer. Because growing any koi, you need to keep it consistent. You need to keep the temperatures roughly around 21 to 23, 24. You can push it a little bit higher than that to really get some growth on it, but I found over the years, if you push a koi too much, you can get good growth from a koi, but you can also ruin a koi as well by pushing it too fast. Doesn't always happen, but it can happen. The whole reason why I bought the air source heat pump is to keep it stable, use it in the summertime, use it to benefit me for when the temperatures outside are on my side, so then I can keep the water temperature a lot warmer. It does bring me on to get one for my main pond as well, but I've really got to speak to Mrs. Whisperer, because I have been having a look on a few websites to try to get the best one that I want for the money that I want to spend. But the small little heat pump that I bought for 325 quid, I thought I took a bit of a punt at it just to see how good it would be for the money that it is, because in money terms, it's an absolute bargain. I did speak to the guys at UK Koi Supplies, and they did tell me that there's only like 20 left, and if anyone was interested of getting one for their pond, on the manual it says it's capable of heating water up to 2,500 gallons, but myself personally, I think that it would just be running a hell of a lot. I mean, it will heat that size pond, but it'll be running far too often. On a smaller pond, a smaller system, it will definitely work. So if you've got yourself a grow-on, definitely think about having a look at that. I'll leave the link down in the description of the video, and I'll leave my discount code, because you can get 5% off of that if you want to check it out. Fill your boots if you want to have a look, but they told me they've only got 20 left and they won't be restocking until March, because where they come from and all the rest of it, and the prices might go up the next shipment load that they get in. It's the cheapest one that I've found in the whole of the UK. The heat pump itself uses 490 watts, but it produces 3.5 kilowatts of heat. It definitely works a dream. And if you're a little bit unsure what all that means, a bit like I was really, of working out how much it would actually cost to use it, So it only uses electric when it's actually running. So when the fan's running and the motor's running and it kicks in, it flips the dial over to tell you that the water temperature should be at 20, but it's dropped. It will trigger on automatically. It's got an anti-defrost on it. It only uses roughly around, depending what tariff that you're on, it only uses 11 pence per hour when it's actually in use. So if it only flips on, say 2 or 3 times a day, it's only going to cost you like 20 or 30 pence a day to run it. Obviously when it gets colder and the air temperature is nowhere near as warm and it's obviously on or running a lot more, then it will start costing a little bit more. But in running time per hour, even if it was running 24 times a day at 10 or 11 pence an hour, maximum it's only going to cost you is £2.50 a day, which is a lot of money for electricity terms just to do one thing. But there's no way that heat pump's going to be running 24 hours a day, because over the winter time, a lot of people cover their ponds, a bit like a hot tub really, to keep the heat inside of the pond. A lot of people put lagging around their pipe work. A lot of people basically cover the whole pond in. And that's something that I'm thinking about at the moment. When I shut the pond down for the winter time, obviously the fish are still more than happy by being in a comfortable, stable temperature, and I'm not going to be planning to heat up to 20s. I'm just planning to keep it stable over the winter, whether that be 10 degrees, whether that be 12 degrees. And I do believe that it will play a massive benefit for the koi coming out of the season, coming into the new season. And that's what's making me think about doing the same to this pond and just keeping the temperatures stable over the winter months and only use it to benefit me in the summer months. But overall, I am super impressed with it. I do like the little LCD panel on the side of it that tells you the temperature of what it is. And for the money, I am more than happy with it. I don't think there's a better one on the market for the price what it is, 325 quid. Well happy that I managed to get myself one. And to be fair, the size of it, you can pretty much fit it anywhere. Fits in a dream. It's not a big bulky item. And there was a few things when I was buying it which crossed my mind a few times about, is it noisy to run? And no. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, you can hear it, the same as like you can hear a pump running, like just that little, the fan or the motor running. But it's not loud that it's going to disturb your peace and quiet from the garden and take away the sound of the running water, because it is super quiet. I'm not going to say that you can't hear it, because you can hear it, but it doesn't get picked up on camera and it doesn't get picked up on film. And I mean, you can certainly hear the water running, and that air pump's running right now. So overall, I'm more than happy with it. Do you need an air source heat pump? I've never owned one before myself personally. I just think that it's played a little bit more of a benefit to me now I've got one on this pond. And the fish certainly seem a lot happier that the water temperatures are stable, because I don't know if a lot of people has found over the years that when we get to this sort of time of year, September, October, where the summers start to drop off, but the fish are still active and they still want to have some food, that they can get really upset. Like you get a day like today, where yesterday was glorious sunshine, pond temperatures got up to like 19, 20 degrees in my main pond, and overnight I come out this morning and the temperatures in the main pond has dropped down to 16 degrees. Well, with koi, that's a massive difference. That's a little sign of how a fish can get sick, because if you imagine yourself sat inside really, just chilling out with your fish. I've got another pond behind me now, but you imagine yourself just being sat inside with a t-shirt on. You're sat in 20 degrees or 21 degrees, which normal people's houses, that's the sort of temperature what it is. But you get to the winter time and it's freezing. You're not going to sit in the garden for the same period of time as what you can sit inside. Well, when the water temperatures gets cold, you've got no option. And if it gets cold super quickly, a bit like when it's nice and sunny in the daytime, you get to the evening time and you sat round the fire and you decide to put yourself a hoodie on. Well, in a koi pond or any sort of fish pond, when those temperatures drop drastically and quickly, those fish have just got to adjust to it like that, and they've got no option apart from staying in the water that they're living in. I think a key point of keeping a pond stable definitely plays a big benefit to the general health of the fish without triggering any stress points. And stress in a pond, especially with koi, can kick off a whole ball game of situations with even triggering parasite problems just because the temperature had dropped. The koi are unhappy because they get stressed out. And I know there's probably people what's just seen the video and saw that I've got this RS feeder in the back. I've got to do a bit of a review on this feeder really. I've had a quick look at it myself. I've got to put it on the pond, but I'm waiting for the brackets to turn up because they weren't in stock when I ordered it. So hopefully they'll turn up within the next week or so, and I'll get this out and I'll show you guys what it is, what it does, is it any good, and yeah, I'll do a bit of a review later down the line. But I thought I'd add that to the video because it was sat in the bottom of that little video clip, and I'm sure there's people out there that just saw it. But overall, in general, the garden and the DIY bits that I was on about today, I'm more than happy with how everything's turned out this season. And like anybody, you can only do what you can do each year. I mean, me and Mrs. Whisperer actually built this pond this year, which we didn't plan to build it to the extent and levels that we did. But like a lot of people, you get a little bit carried away and you add certain stuff and you buy certain stuff and your plans change. But one thing she told me she wanted doing today, she really hates the colour of this and it sticks out like a sore thumb. So she wants me to paint this little shed that I made. And to be fair with you, the only thing that I use it for, the whole shed, is just to store away my koi equipment, my nets, my bows, pond hoover, equipment that you sort of gather over time that you need somewhere to put it. If you ain't got anywhere to put it, it's big bulky items and I didn't know where else to put it. In fact, if I didn't need that shed right there and I didn't need to house all my equipment, I would probably build a little pond here in the side. Something that I might do. I don't think Mrs. Whisperer will have none of that, but I could quite easily put a little pond there with filtration on the side, a bit like what I've done with my son's pond over there. I don't know where else to put all of my pond equipment. Whether that be I make some sort of storage behind the back of my property on the back of the fence where I can hang everything to, something that I'm thinking about. It does bring me on to thinking to myself, is there any point of me doing that? Building another pond in the back garden when I'm going to be like having a koi studio very soon. I wanted just to add a little bit of information for the people that do follow me. The koi studio, I've got a Japan trip coming up soon. I've got a lot of other things already booked in the calendar and I don't want to start that until I get completely involved in it. I don't want to be doing anything up my parents' farm in the studio until I know that I'm 100% committed to that's what I'm going to do and I can be there a lot longer. And it is part of the reason why I put a drum filter on this pond, because I did get a bit of stick really when I was building this pond, because when I first set out of building it, I sort of built it because I was designing a budget, a DIY as cheap as I possibly could, and that's how the game started. I mean, I was knocking off bricks, I was using second-hand equipment, and where I want to go in this hobby is that I wanted to have a lot more free time from being here, cleaning ponds, cleaning filters, adding water changes. So the way that I set these ponds up, and they're both set up, is that they pretty much look after themselves. And for the people that don't know, I absolutely love this hobby. I love making videos. I love the learning side of the ponds. I love the educational side of it all. And I've been completely obsessed with it, to be fair. My life ain't been great, you know what I mean? I've had some bad things happen to me. The people that know where I was to in my life, the beginning of this season when I come back to making YouTube videos, I'm not going to bring up history, but a lot of people know what's happened in my sort of life and career and where I was. And my life's got a million times better. I've also sort of took the plunge, how dedicated that I am to this hobby and what I want to do with my YouTube channel and where I want to go in this hobby. I'm just so keen to learn. I've always been a butcher. I've been a butcher since I left school. And I've actually, the past sort of 6 to 8 weeks, I went part-time because I didn't have the time to edit videos. I didn't have the time to visit different people, to learn more in the hobby. And I've actually took the plunge now, and I've actually handed in my notice completely, give it 100% to go places and try to do something that it might be mission impossible, but I'm trying my absolute hardest to dedicate myself to what I want to do. And if it don't work out, it don't work out. I mean, I'm a grafter. A lot of people knows when I built these ponds, the work, the dedication. I don't just sit around and lay in bed. I'm going to give this channel everything that I've got. And when I get to that koi studio and I start building, there is going to be a lot of financial fees that come with it. Building ponds. It's not cheap to build one pond, let alone put a whole studio together. And the only income of money that I'm relying on, the views that I get on the channel, and not going to lie to you, I do get sponsored as well. So I've got a few sponsorships that's on board that helps me out. And I know I get a lot of stick by people saying, oh James, your channel's turning into a sales channel. But in this industry, YouTube doesn't pay enough to earn an hourly rate. So people like me and other content creators, you've got to do what you've got to do to try to earn yourself a living. And I'm trying my absolute most best to try to make this work for me. So then eventually I can bring you good content of building ponds, putting it together, showing you how to do certain stuff. But like a lot of you know, it all takes money to do that, and it all takes a lot of time to do that. So I'm prepared to put in absolute everything that I've got with this. I've left a job that's been secure. It's been my bread and butter for the past how many years that I've been there. It was a bit of a hard decision for me to make, but I felt that it was the right decision that I need to make, and I've got to ride out the highs and the lows, and I've got to just try it, because if I don't try it now, I'll never ever know. And if it don't work, then it don't work. But if it does work, then happy days. I've got to give it a go. And by me doing this, hopefully that it proves to you how much dedication that I'm prepared to put into this channel, and where I want to go with it, and what I want to do and achieve. Because I've always worked in a little box room pretty much, and this channel has definitely helped me out in my headspace. It's definitely helped me out in general, just doing something different instead of the normal that I've always ever done all my life. And I started to get to the stage where I thought to myself, is this all that life is? Me get out of bed, go to work in a little back room. And when I first started the butchery trade, I absolutely loved it. I completely loved it. I was obsessed with it. I was so good at my job as well that I knew that I was good at my job, but it becomes so easy because it was the same routine every single day, and it wasn't doing the old mental health any good whatsoever. And yeah, not going to lie to you, I'm really prepared to make this work, and I'll do anything possible that I can do to make it work and to bring you guys the content that I'm planning to bring you. Me going to Japan is a bit of a start off. It's a little bit of a break in between me working out what I got to do, where I got to go, and basically get set up on the studio. And I know I've been banging on for a little bit, and these type of videos do nowhere near as good. But the people that do follow me and the guys that I am speaking to right now, I just wanted to let you know where I'm at with it, just to give you I've always ever been honest on this channel, and I think that's part of the reason why I have got such a good following. And I can't thank each and every one of you enough for supporting the channel, whether that's through super chats that we do when we do live streams, whether that be just by hitting that thumbs up button, just by clicking in and watching some of my content that I produce, and the amount of help that where I've helped other people out, where they seeing me build the pond and me asking them about the water and they asking me questions on my Instagram page. That gives me so much satisfaction that I am somebody in this world and I can actually help people, and I enjoy what I'm doing. And it's the first time for a long time that I actually feel happy with myself. And it's a massive risk that I'm taking. I mean, from always being a stable wage, bringing in a certain amount of income every month, doing what I've done is a massive risk, because there's no guarantee of how much money that I might make by a video or by a sponsorship or by whatever I decide to do. But what it does do, it allows up a lot more free time, so then I can go out and learn different things. Like, there's a few things I've got coming in the pipeline that Matt at GRP Lining Services, that he's sponsoring me to go to Japan, but he's also offered me that I can go and learn how to fiberglass ponds with him. So it gives me the opportunity to go and learn different trades as well now. I've got koi shops and different dealers that said to me, like, James, if you want a day's work, we know that you're more than capable of handling fish. If you want a day's work, you can come up and have a day's work. And those little types of things is what I'm going to be doing, because I still need to earn a penny. I still need to pay me mortgage as such. But being in the industry of something that I'm really interested in, I also get to learn new things as well. And I'm just super buzzing about the whole experience of where I'm going to be and what I'm going to do. And yeah, I'm just complete buzzing about the whole situation more than anything, because it's exciting being the normal. I mean, it was hard for me to leave the butchers, but I wanted to put it out there because working up the butchers for so many years, my bosses have been brilliant to me. They've been so good to me over the years, giving me the opportunity of when I was there, when I was working. I really enjoyed it when I was there, but I felt that I had to do something that was right for me now. I took a long decision to make the decision where the channel might be, how I'm going to earn money, how I'm going to make a living, and how I can make it actually work. But if I don't ever try it, I'm never going to know, and I want to know. But one thing's for sure, I'm the Whisperer, and I will do absolutely anything to try my absolute best to make what I'm trying to do work. So that being said, I want to say thanks everyone for watching this video. I know it's a bit of a yibbity yabbiter and where this video's gone, but I tried getting certain things into the video that I wanted to put in there. And yeah, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone that's allowed me to have a go at this and try it and try to do something different, because I see so many koi auctions on the YouTube channel now. I see so many like koi shops opening up, and I see so much of the same thing. But what I haven't seen is a content creator like myself try to do something for himself and have a studio where I can teach people how to build filters. I can teach people how to build ponds and different systems that work differently than others. Keep trying new things and show people, like, just for instance, if you've got a £500 budget, that's what you can build for £500 and make it run. And if you've got a £10,000 budget, that's what you can build and do different levels of different ponds, different styles. And yeah, I'm just absolutely buzzing about the whole sort of situation of it all. And I can't wait for it all to start kicking off. But without your guys' help, it'd never ever be possible. So that's enough of me going on, because I start yibbity yabbiting for the next sort of 20 minutes. And I can't wait to start bringing you guys some decent content, the fun, the fast. All of the content that I did when I built these ponds out here originally, that's where I need to get back to. I know that's where I need to be. And I know that that type of content is content that people want to watch. They don't want to watch me talking about me. That being said, thanks for watching the video. If I don't see you in a week, I'll see you through a window. Thank you, mother, for the Koi Whisperer.